Hello everybody, my name's James. Welcome to the Planet FPL Gameweek 30 Deadline stream, and it's live. It's a blank game week. We've only got 4 fixtures. I wonder how many repeat questions there'll be this week. For those of you new, please check graphics on screen before asking questions, because there's every chance the answer to your question may be on screen. I'm on free hit. Team in the top right hand corner, locked in. Ramsdale in goal. Pereira, yes, I know he might not start, but I want to chance it. Tierney, 8 Nori, I know he might not start, but I want to chance it. Saka, Kulusevski, Heung-min Son, Harvey Barnes, Kelechi Iheanacho, Raul Jimenez, captain, Harry Kane. In reserve, I have David Raya, Johnny, is it Antonio? No, it's not Antonio now, is it? Manuel Lanzini, Aaron Cresswell in some sort of order. To be honest, I spent about 20 minutes on it last night, and I saw Brendan Rodgers say Daka probably wouldn't play, and decided to go with Iheanacho instead of Maddison. That's it. If you're wondering why, on the captaincy metric below, Maddison still appears above Harvey Barnes. I just think he's a little bit more assured of a start, that's all. Harvey Barnes can be the one-pointer. Not that James Maddison can't. I'm just more confident in Maddison starting than Barnes. But I've still gone Barnes because why not? Just why not? Benching dilemmas. I'm not going to go through them because if you've got benching dilemmas this week, then you're blessed. Maybe you're on free hit and you're like me and you got a benching dilemma. Fine, ask, but hey, it's probably there on the benching dilemma anyway. You'd also see to the left of me correct score predictions for all 4 games this week. I'm going 1-0 Wolves, 2-0 Arsenal, 2-0 Leicester, 2-1 Tottenham. That's what I'm going with. And right below me, right at the bottom, you'll see the ticker for each team's next 5 fixtures. Blue indicates a double game week. Right, let's get into the questions. I'll try and answer as many as I can over the next 55 minutes or so. Good luck, everybody. Vivek Gore says, hi James, who would you bring in from Kulusevski, Maddison, Barnes for Bowen? Kulusevski, mate. Ayab Seller says, hi James, buy one for the long term, Barnes or Maddison? Barnes. Nasu says, hey mate, if Leicester go out next round of Conference League, could you see Leicester Norwich moving to Game Week 34? Game Week 34 unlikely. Game Week 35, yes I could. Yes, I could. Game Week 34 might be a little bit short notice. Norwich to Leicester's a fair journey, but it's possible. I'd say Game Week 35 is more likely. Steve Greenwell says, cheers James, no questions this week, appreciate all the work. Thank you Steve, good luck. Prabnor Singh says, hey James, I have 7 starters this game week. Should I bring in the 8th by replacing Fraser, with Ramsey? Or is it worth saving a transfer this week? Well, if Ramsey obviously facilitates money for you to do something in Game Week 31, fine. But it might be we're all facilitating money by selling Trent Alexander-Arnold, possibly, right? Ramsey, what's your honest expectations? 2 points? If it's free transfer and you've got no use for Fraser in future weeks, fine, do it. Rob Pick says, Rob, you're not on your stag do. Enjoy yourself, mate. Evening, mate. 9 players, although that includes Rafinha. No money to upgrade Breuer. Would you sell any of Salah, Trent, Robertson or Rudiger to get an extra man or just roll? Already have Kane. Cheers, pal. There's a case for selling Trent. I think there's 2 ways of looking at this. So the Guardian, which is a more trusted source, seems to be reporting they think Alexander-Arnold will probably be out to around about Game Week 33. Which, especially if you've got the wild card left and a free hitting in 33, I think that makes it a sell, doesn't it? But there's a flip side of it that says to me, and it's just psychological, and I discussed this on the Patreon pod we did this afternoon, is every chance he wasn't going to play at Forest anyway. Liverpool pull him out with an injury and you get him off of England duty. I am conscious of that. So it depends how you feel, Rob. If you think and you believe the reports that Trent might be out for 3 weeks or so, I'd sell him, mate, and get another player in. And then you can look at how you're shoving the funds in 31. Ludwig Bergfeld says, who do you reckon is the best forward under 7.6 million for Game Week 30 and Game Week 32? Deciding whether to transfer out Antonio or not, and will use free hit 33 and wildcard 34. Or is this a waste of a transfer, do you reckon? So Antonio in 32's got Brentford away. I mean, that's an absolutely reasonable fixture. Is Jimenez better? Leeds at home, Newcastle away? I think it's probably similar. Leicester players, no guarantee that they play twice. Kane's on a different level. Obviously doesn't come into the value bracket. Lacazette's too expensive. Watkins or Rings, it's not better. Tony, Leicester and West Ham, it's not better. I think I'd stick with Antonio, to be honest, Ludwig. FPL Invincible says, hi James, no chips left, 1 free transfer, 9 players for this week. I was thinking to transfer Dean out for one of White, Tierney and Marty. Which one to choose? That'd be Kieran Tierney for me, mate. There is a case to say, though, you might be better off just saving the money with White, because the way Tierney's playing at the moment, he's not getting forward in the same way that he was. Therefore, maybe you might just want to go with a cheaper player who you can start bench. You might feel obliged to start Tierney in future weeks. I've got Kieran Tierney. If I was going to buy now, I'd arguably go White, to be honest, and save the money. Oscar says, Edward and Dean to Iheanacho and Kilman from -4, or other defensive suggestions for the next couple of weeks. Seems fine. I think those 2 players have got to go for you, in all honesty. So, yep, it's fine. Kilman's okay. Look, Kilman's probably, I think Bradley Parker said on COTC yesterday, we recorded it on Monday, he said he was about 90% Kilman started, 80% Saiss, 100% Cody. So, I mean, that's the only thing I can add on to that, but I think buying Kilman will be fine, mate. Sebo Slices, evening, James. The stream lads. What he means to say, and he's forgot to put it, is like the stream lads and lasses. Hit the like button, doesn't cost anything. Hit the thumbs up, let that zing past the hundreds. Hit the sub button there, past 8k subs in the last week or so. It's nice to hear. Be 10k soon. Lovely jubbly. Adnan Shamsul says, Willock to Martinelli with a free transfer, yay or nay? Yay. Dragon Yosiowski says, Breuer to Iheanacho or save the free transfer. Team looks well set for 31. So I can afford to bench Nacho or move him to Weghorst in case of TAA other injuries. I'd probably get it done. Breuer's got Leeds in 31. Iheanacho's got a more difficult fixture, but you're saying you can afford to bench him anyway. Even Breuer will also be unavailable in 32, although you probably wouldn't have started him against Chelsea in any case. I say move it, mate. I think we got. I always wanted to be in a position this week where I had confidence in who was going to play for Leicester forward. And when I did the podcast this morning with Serge, I didn't have any confidence. Roger's comments that Daka's unlikely to be available was enough for me to say, do you know what? I'm going to chance this. So I think you should do the same. Darko Trandex says, hi James, best Leicester defensive asset, but not only for this game week, not on free hit. Thanks, enjoy your weekend, and to you too, Darko. Castagna's back available. You got Prayer available. James Justin available. Makes the fullbacks messy. I mean, to be honest, arguably Sinshu. It's grim, that, isn't it? Don't if you're not free hitting, don't get one for the sake of it, I'd say. Like people will ask about Amati. Johnny Evans back fit as well, and I think that will then become Evans and Sinshu, won't it? I would have thought. Prabesh says free hit this week. Is Bowen a sell next week? Well, it depends on his fitness or not, right? So listen to what David Moyes says over the next couple of weeks, though. He's not quick to give away early indications. Everton, Brentford, Burnley follows for Bowen, so if you still got him, there's a case certainly for holding on, mate. Dylan Ferner Rose says, hey, James, mate, would you swap out Breuer for Tony and keep Watkins, or swap Watkins for Lacazette and play with 10? No, if you've got Watkins, I'd just go with it, mate. You'd be slapping yourself in the face if he does well. It's Raw12G says, is a -4 worth it to bring in one of Madison Barnes for Ward-Prowse? Cheers for your work as always. I'm going to say yes. Leeds, Chelsea, then possible double. It's probably a little bit more of a difficult sell if you're not free hitting in game week 33. But if you're not, I'm going to say yes, sell. Madison Barnes, in all honesty, it's toss a coin. I think Barnes has a little bit more ceiling. He probably won't frustrate you as much as Madison. Maito says, hi James, currently fielding 10 this week. Is it worth using free transfer to move Dean to Wolves defender, or just roll and have 2 free transfers a game with 31? Thanks as always, you're very welcome. I'm okay with rolling. I see a lot of people doing that this week, and there's certainly some value in doing that in terms of what you can do with 31, 32, particularly if you're building to Wolves 33. Remember, as it stands, we're projecting blanks for Villa, Leeds and Wolves in game week 33. So again, if you're not free hitting in 33, is that going to give you a problem? If not, then I'd say yeah, buy him in. And anyone. 8 Nori is probably not a buy, and probably neither's Johnny. I think for free hit, they're both great choices. Sonny says, hi James, out of Barnes and Martinelli, who would you buy just for this week? It's clear, mate. It's on the screen, top right. I think my team's the giveaway. Pushcast says, hi James, which Leicester players are worth taking a hit? There was a lot of injury news on them. Partly depends on what you're selling as well, right? So if you're selling someone that's of no use to you, than a lot of them. I think defensive is really muddy for people looking to buy. I think Schmeichel is possibly interesting if you don't have a goalkeeper, but I think most people will right now. So Maddison, Barnes, the two midfielders. I wouldn't buy Iheanacho. Free hit, great. Buy, probably not. Unless, like the previous questioner, is in a position where he's happy to bench him and then move him on. If you're happy with your squad as it would maybe stand for 31, which remember you may not be if Trent's going to be out and stuff. So the midfield guys. Eshen says, Wood to Lacazette or Iheanacho or neither and save the transfer. I'm going to contradict myself now. I'm not keen on Lacazette as a longer term buy, personally. I think if people want to free hit him in this week, that's absolutely fine. I get that. Again, depends on your squad. I'd rather have Iheanacho this week, personally. But I'm also not convinced it's worth the transfer. That said, Chris Wood. You want it, really? It's probably going to go anyway, isn't it? I think in that case, if you're selling Wood, yeah, Iheanacho. Vivek Gore says, would you take a hit to remove Gray for Kulusevski? Yes. Yeah, even in spite of the double in 31, yeah, I think I would, yeah. Ritwick says, would you transfer in White for Target or just roll a transfer for 2 free transfers to get 3-4 Everton and Burnley players like Veghorst, DCL, Pickford, Gordon, Holgate, have 2 free hits to cover 33 and 36? Ritwick, please don't put all your eggs into these 2 teams. Like, honestly, just put the phone down and captain Salah in 31 if he's available, mate. And if he's not, captain Kane. You do not want all them players, mate. Honestly, none of them are even assured. Begovic might stay in the team. Gordon, I think, and Evertonians keep saying he will keep his place, but could lose his place once Calvert-Lewin's integrated properly into the 11. Although, if they play the system they played last night, it will stay in the team. But we saw obviously Lampard play a back 3 last week. That would be dodgy for Gordon. Holgate, I mean, when Yerry Mina's back fit, and I don't know how far away he is, that's him out the team. Veghorst, yeah, great, he stays in. Honestly, don't overegg that Burnley Everton shit, mate. And I'm absolutely certain that when Jack and Sean, and we're doing Clash of Correspondence during the break with those two, the Burnley Everton correspondents, I'm fairly certain they're going to put you off the assets, and that's part why I'm getting them on. James Nielsen says, hi James, just want to say thanks for your amazing content. Can't wait for Monday explanation of the fixtures. Good luck this game week. Very welcome, James. Yeah, I will go into it more detail. When we did the pod this morning, we didn't know, obviously, the European draws. Obviously, don't know the cup draws and the winners from the quarterfinals at the moment. But come Monday, I can give you a more accurate hypothesis of what I think 37 is going to look like. And so much is going to depend on the Crystal Palace Everton result in terms of the way I think it will map out. And I'm not going to confuse people by explaining that on a stream like this, which is fast. Sebo slices King to Tony or save the transfer. Not too impressed by any Everton Burnley assets. Thanks again, mate, and best of luck for your free hit. Look, Tony's proving popular. It's not for me. I look at it and go, it's Chelsea away in 31. West Ham 32, grim. 33 single fixture with Watford, but you're going to want other assets. 34's Tottenham. 35's Man United. I'm not keen. He scored 5 in 2 against Norwich and Burnley, 3 of them penalties. That's what I said this morning. Listen, can Ivan Toney score this weekend? Yeah, of course he can. He's a very good forward. Do I want to be looking at him in my team come 31? Not really. That said, Josh King needs binning, mate. They've got Liverpool 31, so you don't want to look at that either. So, to be honest, I don't mind if you want to get Tony in for him. Rishi says, hi James, currently have 2 Arsenal win Ramsdale and Saka is Willock to Martinelli free transfer worth it? Yep, you get a nod from me there, mate. Josh says, hi James, sell Dean this week for free. If so, who do I bring in? No wild card left, 0.9 in the bank. I'd love to tell you to target a Leicester player, but as covered, I think that's a little bit of a nightmare. What have you got Arsenal? I mean, there's a case to say get another Arsenal, Ben White. Just bench it a lot of the time, mate. Play it when you want to. Jay says, would you punt on Nacho now that we know Daka is missing and Vardy has fitness issues? Yes, definitely on a free hit, which is what I've done. Questionable in terms of depending on who you're selling, Jay, in terms of whether you want to carry that through. Because he's a problem waiting to happen. Andrew Grondin says, hi James, am I being too clever with a free hit lacking Arsenal attack? I think Coutinho has the best shot of hauling in that game and also have triple Spurs and double Fox's attack and Tony. But no, that you've got your opinion, Andrew, and so therefore you should back it up and be, I can't think of the word, follow your own conviction with it, mate. Yeah, that's fine. I don't think Arsenal attack's going to kill you. I think like if you haven't got any defensive and they keep a clean sheet, that's going to sting. Patrick Lawson says, selling Havertz for Maddison or Barnes. Is a -4 worth it for Breuer to Tony or Fraser to Ericsson? Podence, second Leicester mid, maxed out on Arsenal and Spurs. Second Leicester mid would be the preference, mate. The one and only Smith, I have Emerson Royal in my starting 8. God help me. Don't think God will help you, but you got every chance of the 1 pointer as seen at Brighton in the week because there's every chance he'll change the wing backs. I genuinely think Tottenham starting 11 will be the same 11 that started the last 2 games. Holostamos says, good luck James, like the stream guys, thanks very much. Yeah, smash a like guys. Andrew Sands says, hi James, trust you well. Brentford's performances took an upturn before their results did. Ericsson will grab a lot of headlines, but how much of an influence has Raya's return had? Yep, we can underrate that, definitely, because it just gives confidence to the rest of the defence. I do think the fixtures they've had in the last few is certainly helpful from that perspective. And also the change of change of system, sorry. Andrew Grinder says, James, wife, deadline. I've just spent 15 minutes helping her with her free hit, so if she's fucked it, she's fucked it. James Bishop says, hi James, I'm thinking Dean to a Marty and Breuer to Tony for -4 to get 11, worth it. Yeah, I mean, the good thing with buying a Marty is, I mean, you probably do bench him ongoing. I think he's a better pick for those who still have the wild card left, is all I would say. But yeah, fine, James. Zane FX says, best 3 Bale goals for Spurs. Christ, that's random. West Ham at home when we won 3-2, when he scored in the last minute. Norwich away, 1-1 draw, when they kept trying to wipe him out and he just kept running with it. And so many good goals. God, he was like having his own goal of the month competition at the end of the 12-13 season. I'm going to say the last goal against Sunderland last day of the season. James Bishop says, hi James, I'm thinking Dean to him. That's what we've done. Mohammed Ali says, Lord Linden, why Kulusevski? Are the probabilities really that good that he will return? Mate, have you looked at his numbers? Like, his underlying numbers are like a way in excess of a 6 million midfielder, mate. Honestly, if he carries on at this rate, he's going to be about 9 million next season. He's a top little player. Do I expect him to go mental this week? No. I've owned him for a number of weeks now anyway, so he obviously sticks around for me this week. No problem at all. He's the business, mate. He's the business. He's obviously assisted the first goal the other night, which, if it deflected off a Brighton player, his goal. Maybe the original shot was going in the far corner. He missed a one-on-one in the fixture that he should have finished comfortably as well. Could have mass hauled on Wednesday. So he's the business, mate. And he's playing, each game he's playing a higher position as well. Adam says, what to do with Trent if you're free hitting 33 and wildcard 34? Then there's a case to sell, Adam. There's a case to sell as covered. It's obviously not for me now on free hit, but yeah, I won't hesitate to sell him just because I've got the value in him. Because honestly, his value will die quickly. Don't make early transfers for 31. The information is more important. Zane FX says, top 3 beers. Any beer that's available in the pub, mate. I'm no beer connoisseur, mate, but I feel like I get this question a lot. Damien Rozalski says, hi, what are your odds of Antonio scoring a brace versus Tottenham? A brace? What would the bookies say? 4-1, maybe? SK says, Wood to Tony with the free transfer role, 9 players currently. I mean, I'd be looking to bring Chris Wood, yeah. Ragav says, Salah to Martinelli, Odegaard or roll. What's the worst case scenario, Ragav? How much value you up in Salah? Can you afford to buy him back if you sell? Are you happy to go against him in 31? I think Salah would likely start in Gameweek 31, if you're asking me. He missed 2 league games in a row. That man wants to break goal scoring records. And Liverpool can't afford to take their eye off the ball when the Champions League draw is quite good. So I think he probably plays that game. So bear that in mind. But if you're happy to hop off and hop back on, fine, mate, crack on. Preference slightly with Martinelli, because I think I really like Matty Cash, but I think you can get him behind him. Adam says, Phillips back fit for Leeds. Do you think that will improve their chances tonight? It certainly does, Adam, but I'd be very surprised if he starts. He's been out for a while, and although Marsh said, yep, they'll be involved tonight, him and Cooper, he also said we'll stick to the plan in terms of reintroducing them. It's an international break. They can work hard on his fitness. I think he'll probably get 20 minutes or so tonight that will be beneficial to him and Leeds, but it's not going to help him in the first instance. So Dravko Dobrev says, hi James, triple Wolves defence or double plus Jimenez, cheers. I don't mind triple Wolves defence if you've got big confidence in it. To be honest with you, of my free hit team, the player I have the least confidence in is Raul Jimenez. But I just feel like the opportunity is there with Leeds. Not brilliant forward options this week. I'm going to go for it because I've got the 4 midfielders that I really wanted. The 5th I would have wanted was Maddison. And obviously with Iheanacho in there and going defensive, that's off the table. Yes, I could have looked at it and gone double Wolves defensive as well. But I'd sensed that I might need Johnny from the bench in any case. So I'm going to say go Jimenez, mate. He'll be quite well owned as well. Shahid Hussain says, hi James, already taken a -8 because of Bowen and Dean injuries. Is Barnes worth an extra -4? Thank you. Can't answer that, Shahid. Don't know what you're selling. I'm going to guess it's for a blanker. And therefore, I'm going to say, judge it on its own merits. Yes, go for it. Ali Bismo says, hello, James. Good luck on the free hit. I'm only fielding 8 this game week, fully relying on Kane to bag a hat-trick, rolling the free transfer. If Harry Kane gets a hat-trick this week, I ain't going to do a huge amount for your rank, mate. He's going to be so highly owned and captain. I'm seeing people jumping, taking -4s to go Son to Kane. He's going to be really highly captained. He's not going to make a lot of difference what he does. You're just protecting your rank with him. Adam says, did you consider chancing Bamford on your free hit? No, haven't seen enough on a fancy Wolves for a clean sheet tonight. Damien Rozalski says, did you consider buying Region and Johnny? Johnny is in my squad, sitting on the bench. Region, no, not really. I probably would have gone Doherty just to cover up against the extra ownership at this stage, if I'm honest. But someone did ask me early in the week about if you were being punty, and I said, yeah, I'd go Region, no problem. If you're looking to make giant gains, I'd probably just be looking to contain at the moment and make sure a player like Doherty, heaven forbid, didn't hurt me, which obviously he can still do. But for me, there was no way I was moving Kulusevski or Kane, and for me, the priority, despite his concerns around his form, was still to get Heung-min Son as far as I was concerned. So Region was never really on the table. Johnny's in. He's sitting there on the bench with every possibility that he may be needed. Kultsuba says, Tony or Nacho on free transfer. Iheanacho. Ethan says, hey James, you the man, that's all. Thanks Ethan. Big Boot says, I've got 9 this week if Rafinha plays, but only Kane from Spurs. Trying to roll with free transfer. If Rafinha is out, should I prioritise Dean to Doherty Davis or Rafinha to Kulusevski, or is both worth it? I'll be honest with you, mate, and say yeah. The only thing to say with that is, and this is regretful, you should have had them players in last week. I stressed a lot last week that I felt, I ended up taking a -12, didn't I? That getting Tottenham and Arsenal players in last week was almost irrespective. If you take -12, -16, smash them in. So you've missed a bit. That's the only thing. But arguably, yeah, both, to be honest. Archie M says Iheanacho has something to prove with Daka and Vardy out. Good swap with Maddison James. Hope it pays off, mate. Thank you, Archie. Good luck. Damien Rozalski says, oh, Johnny on your bench. Yeah, well spotted. Huge Flatfish says, hi, James. Sitting here at New York LaGuardia Airport. Flight home has now been delayed 4 hours. Grim. Passing the time listening to you. Good luck to all this week. I hope I'm helping the time pass a little bit better for you, mate. Have a safe flight. Zane FX says, what do you think of the announced England squad? Who would you have gone with? Is club form more important than international form? I.e. Pickford, Shaw, Maguire. Well, in the case of them 3 players, Southgate's never going to drop him because them 3 players have been good for him with England, right? And you have to accept that. Yeah, you could say Harry Maguire's been shit for Man United, but shit for Man United last year was great for England in the summer. So maybe it's something to do with the system between the 2 teams. So I can certainly understand why Southgate still picked those players. I was surprised Jadon Sancho was left out. There was a few others. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not seeing a lot of Fikayo Tomori, but I think he was worth a shout. I think Max Kilman was worth a shout, although he's had a couple, mainly the Palace game, inconsistent performances last week. These guys might get called up anyway, because I promise you, there's a load of players going to pull out the squad. J. Lord Broski says, alright, James, I do have a free hit, but Prob won't use it because hate the game, so going with 7 after free transfer. So who's the highest scoring defender in your opinion? Thanks. This game week, if he starts, Ricardo Pereira. That's why he's sitting there. I got no confidence that he starts, but that's my answer if he starts. Felix Hop says, hi James, Dean Dennis out for Iheanacho plus which defender 4.9 in the bank for a -4. Wolves defender or a Leicester one can be short term, wild card in hand. If you've got no Wolves, get Wolves. I'd probably just go safe with Cody, to be honest. If you're feeling fruity, Leicester, but in terms of buy-in, the only one I'd have confidence about playing in forthcoming games is actually Seunsu. So I think Wolves. Geared88, play Barnes away to Manchester United or Coutinho away to Wolves in game week 31. At the moment, that'd be Barnes, but chances are, mate, you'll end up playing both anyway. Post 2 points. Hi, James. Spurs on the top 4 March. I'm on free hit. Who are the top 5 players to go for? Kane, Son, Iheanacho, Maddison, Barnes. There you go. It's top 5 on the captaincy, so let's say them, right? But I've gone Pereira just because. That's what I wanted to do. Post 2 points. That's the question I've done. Lewis Bowman, Pereira, White or Tierney for a free transfer. I think White for the free transfer. And it's cheap and it can sit there on the bench in future weeks if you want it to. Savanch Singh, any particular reason you prefer Ait Nouri and Johnny over Sai's goal threat versus Leeds? Yeah, just it'd be fucking more enjoyable to watch, to tell you the truth. I was determined to have fullbacks defensively this week. So that's all. And I think neither Sai's, Kilman or Cody have overly look like they're going to score from defensive plays. With Leeds, it's a lot about movement. I think of the success that Region and Doherty played in that system against Leeds in the game a few weeks back. So that's why I went with the wing backs, mate. Alex Sweet says, hi James, great podcast. I've got 5 players playing this week. I've got 1 free hit and a wild card left. Would you use a free hit? 5 players? Yeah, I'll do it. I had 5. I mean, what I had was Tierney, Saka, Kulusevski, Kane and Jacob Ramsey. That's all I had. So I've known for a couple of weeks that I was doing this, so players were dispensable for me. Damian Rosowski, I still Man City are favourites to win the title. Was their easier fixture run, unlike Liverpool? I do agree with that comment, Damien, but Liverpool, Man City could draw with Liverpool and draw one other game and not win the title. That's the reality. Sage says, I have 10 players including Dean and Antonio. Would you get in a Wolves defender for Dean or roll the transfer? Thanks guys, love your content. Yeah, I'd get a Wolves guy in, I think, mate. Pushkar says, is it worth selling TA this week for say Pereira for a hit and then upgrade him to Reece next game week? It's one thing for me to have the cojones to put Pereira in on a free hit and have cover on the bench. I don't think I'd have the cojones to buy him on a hit. Sam Martin, for example, who's very clued up on Leicester, he hasn't got Pereira in his predicted team. He's put James Justin in it. And he knows Leicester far better than I do. So you could argue that I should swap it. Nobody has mentioned James Justin yet. Sam knows Leicester better than I do. And it's only a predicted team. And he said that himself. It's 2 days before the game. He doesn't know the team. But he's predicting Justin to play. He knows more about Leicester than I do. So arguably that's the way you should go. I wouldn't want it because it's going to give you a headache down the line. Is a reality. So it's a no from me. Hanzo says, hello James, would you do Breuer to Iheanacho or roll free transfer? Already have 10 players this week. I would get him in and take the chance. Liam says, hi James, love your tactical analysis of games, as good as anything out there in my honest opinion. Thank you. Would you think if doing live watch-alongs it'd be cool to hear your analysis of game is going on, Liam? The honest answer to that, Liam, is I have done some before. And I will again. I've done it on our Patreon network. I've not done one this season. At Harry's age, it's a little bit more difficult at the moment. he's got to be out of the house basically if I'm going to do it here. But yes, I've done a few watch-alongs. I did Tottenham Man United, did Liverpool West Ham last season, and there was another one I think I did as well. I haven't done one this season, but yes, in the future, and as and when I do it, it would be something that would be available to patrons at all tier levels. So yeah, done it before. I don't think I'd ever do it for a Tottenham game ever again, because the final 15 minutes of that game was me sitting there in silence, looking like I wanted to cry, I think, and the patrons understood that. But yeah, it's something I'll do again, just because my son's 3 years old. It's a little bit challenging. Night games is a complete no-no. If I got a Saturday or a Sunday and they're disappearing and I'm in the house, then yeah. I promise to my patrons is that the next time that happens, I will do one for you. I'll make that happen. FPL telling Josh says 8 players, Kane captaincy covered and triple Arsenal, not worth selling. Trent, Robbo, Cancelo, Salah, etc. Roll free transfer, no wildcard left. You sound like I've already answered your question, Josh. The questionable one, of course, is Trent. If he's going to be out for a few weeks, he should be sold, shouldn't he? We don't know where we stand with that. Rashid Valencia says, planning to wildcard in Gameweek 32. Have 8 players for this game week currently. Should I attack this game week by adding Tony, Ricardo, Pereira for -4? See, if you're saying buy both now, if you've already made one free transfer and you're just asking that in isolation, I'm not big on it. I'm not big on it, to be honest. If they're both coming in, then I'm going to say, yeah, fine, do it. Mr. Max 8980 says, hi James, planning on Son and Lacazette to Kane and Martinelli for a hit, with wildcard 34 planned. Okay, mate, good luck. Damien Rozalski says, Ben White and Trent are the only 2 players been in my team in every game week. Now I have to remove Trent. Sad face twice. Richard Smith says, hi James, Dean to Saiz for a hit will take me to 11 players for game week 30. Wildcard sometime between 31 35. It's a yes if you genuinely believe that Wolves will keep a clean sheet today. If you don't, it's not worth it. Razwan says, hi boss, Barnes or Madders? I've gone Barnes. So let's stick with that. I think it's a very close call. Phil Norris says, hi James, love the content. Should I move Willett to Leicester midfielder, Barnes or Maddison, or Martinelli? Not on a free hit. I'd go with the Leicester guys. Sagnick says, a bit late to the party, but here we go. Matt Doherty train goes choo choo choo. Good luck, Sagnick. I hope you're correct. Neil Kager says, hi James, just sending my best and thanks for all the great content. As always, be safe. Good luck this weekend. Cheers, Neil. Thank you as ever, mate. Good luck. Prabesh Sharma says, is Rafinha out? Who is the best option to replace him? Right. I cannot believe that we got 25 minutes into the stream and I've finally been asked, and this is now the point where I check my DMs to see if we've got any potential update on Rafinha. The information I have is that he passed the positive test. That does not mean it's a false positive. I have no clue if he's going to start or not. Not a clue. Hold that thought. Okay, that's nothing new. That's an interesting one. Thank you, Pushkar, for that. Few whispers about Aaron Ramsdale not starting. Why did I go David Raya as backup sub? What have I got in the bank? $6 million. Should I go Meslier on Martinez instead of Raya? I feel like I should. Just to be on the safe side there. Who do I fancy more? Who's more likely to haul? Could Leeds shut Wolves out tonight? Meslier. God, look at his returns. Meslier hasn't got more than 3 points in a game since game week 14. Game week 13 and 14, he had 8 points twice. Game week 7, 6 points. Bloody hell, Leeds defensively. Fucking hell, just looking at that, I'm glad I got Jimenez. Emi Martinez. I don't fancy Brentford at all on Sunday, actually. And I realise I'm probably in the minority there. Martinez had nothing big for a while. Maybe I should just stick it out with Raya. If it's a bit counterproductive, a little bit, with the 2 Leicester attackers. So that's Fabianski off the table for me. Can't obviously go Tottenham, Leicester, Arsenal, Wolves. That's filled up. I wonder if the play is to go Sarr and White instead. No, that's so fucking boring on a free hit, James. So boring. Emi Martinez. David Raya. What I want is the unlikely clean sheet would be a haul. 10 points is 6, 4, 4, 2, 10 since he was back. Fuck it, let's stick with Raya. Decision made. That threw me a little bit. Oscar Arias says, is James free hitting? Yes, he is. Rafinha, I didn't actually answer the question. Yes, I did answer the question. No, I don't know if he's playing. Zaris says, who is nailed for Spurs defence? Greetings from Greece. Do you think Amati will keep his place? I think Amati will keep his place for this game. Beyond that, I've got no clue. Zaris, I would be surprised if the Tottenham team is any different from the team that won at Brighton. Ashish Shukla says, hello, James. I have 9 players playing and the rest of the players I don't want to sell. Shall I stick with 9 and roll my transfer or not? Well, if you got 6 players, you don't want to sell any of them, then fine, mate. Crack on. Ramsdale. Could go Cedric. Then what if Tomiyasu plays, James? Well, I have Gabriel sit there. At least he's more of a threat. I can afford him. This is more of a threat from set pieces, isn't he? But then the whole point is I want to start with double Arsenal defence. That's the whole point. Yeah, let me have a think. I might have a switch around. Unusually. Armando Bayer, don't you think Maddison's a better option than Barnes? Obviously not, mate. Prabesh says, best option to replace Dean with no Arsenal or Spurs slot available. It's probably Wolves, mate. Sadnik says, is it worth jumping on the Kulusevski train now? Or have I missed the boat and go for Barnes? I still go Decky, mate, personally. That Decky is Kulusevski. G-Van says, any Leicester City nailed defender? Sienchu, probably, mate. Andy Mack, free hit with 7 if Rafinha out. Got both free hits, by the way, mate. Are you gonna get the information? I mean, look, if you've got the main coverage, you know, Kane, Son. If you've got Tottenham attacking, certainly if you probably need Harry Kane. And you've got some sort of Arsenal defensive, although you might lose Ramsdale. That's the interesting bit as well. Is actually Tierney does become an effective differential if Ramsdale did miss out. Let me check that account again. A few people saying he was spotted in training photos. Someone's put Leno versus Martinez, one last dance. No, I tell you what, I think I'm going to stick, because if Ramsdale did miss out, that's most people without a goalkeeper this week, I think. Certainly for the non-free hitters. And Raya has got the potential for save tiers. Save tiers? Look at me playing Sky Fantasy. Save shots anyway. Yeah, I think I'm going to stick it out, I think. I want to have double Arsenal defence if Ramsdale's available. Okay, I'm going to stick. Super Spurs says, good luck. Good luck to you too. Ollie Rose, Son, Kulusevski versus Saka Martinelli. The Spurs pair at the moment, mate. Adi Tor, hi James, thanks for the great content. Would you bring in Ericsson or Neves? No, I wouldn't. I think Christian Eriksen at the moment, it's a little bit hyped up on Brentford's last couple of games. Leicester have defensive set piece problems. Christian Eriksen will be on them. Beyond that, fixtures are rough. John Cahill, I've gone Maddison over Barnes, fully prepared for the pain to come. Best of luck for the game, mate. Anybody's got a preference, Maddison for Barnes, I'm cool with that. I've already said it, I think it's a bit of a coin flip. Callum Stewart, Dean to Amati from -4 if you want to do a similar move in future to free cash up. Anyway, no chips left. I didn't really understand that, Callum, so I'm going to say yes. JM, sounds like I'm trying to be too clever, but I want to restructure my team to have a bench fodder striker. Is it worth doing it this week? Breuer to Gelhardt to at least maybe get 1 point back this week. If it's a free transfer, yeah, don't take a hit to do that. John Dre, do you think Son and Dennis to Kane and Ramsey is worth it? I'm still not massively keen on the swapping Son around to Kane, but I get and understand the fear with Harry Kane at the moment. I do. He's so back on it, and his EO is going to be massive. So I think the sensible advice for me to say is yes, do it. But I'm not. Tex Villa says Gelhardt to play. I presume you mean Gelhardt. He's had a back complaint. I imagine he'll probably be a substitute. Alejandro Perez -8 to do Salah to Martinelli, Doherty to Amati, or Wolves defender, and St. Maximin to Kane. Captain Kane, and in 31 bring Salah in for Son. Only have 7 with Hwang. I mean, I guess in theory that it works, but moving Doherty, that might come back and hurt. Fatty Abdi says, is Rafinha out? Never heard of Rafinha. Don't know who that is, mate. Andrew Baker, I just tuned in, working. Which Leicester defender is most likely to start? Let's say Cianchu. Gaming is Rafinha a good free hit option? Thanks. To be honest, yeah, if you fancy him, because he'll either play or he won't be involved at all, right? So there's very little danger with a 1-pointer. Just make sure don't put crap on your bench. Put something solid on the bench. Gaming that's what we've done. Alex Newbold, Bale volley versus Stoke. Oh, yeah, and I was there. And the goals in Inter as well. Bloody hell. I mean, honestly, some of the goals he scored. Good shout. Strong T. Hey, James, I have 5 players. Kane, Son, Doherty, Watkins and Barnes. Do you think it's worth keeping the free hit for later on and just get the red arrow this week? The answer to that question probably lies in what do you think Arsenal Wolves are going to do. And if you think Arsenal Wolves are going to win and keep clean sheets like I do, then I think you should play the free hit. Melon Musk says Martinelli and Barnes in for Bowen and Willock -4. Can't argue that. Alex Bill says, hi James, would you take Dean, Livramento, Breuer out for Johnny Pereira, excuse me, Iheanacho for -8 to get 11 players out? Bit of a punt, wildcarding in 31. Enjoy your weekend. Good luck with your free hit. Honestly, if you're free hitting in game week 31, yes, I would do it. Yeah, I'd do it. I think that the combination of them get more than 8. Adam says, Antonio scored brace versus Spurs is 28-1, mate. Fuck me. Get some money on then. Heat Baladia says, Barnes, Maddison, Coutinho. Choose 2. Barnes, Maddison. John Cahill says, Rogers said Daka is unlikely to be available for the weekend. That's correct. That's why Iheanacho is in my team, mate. Mark Burns says, evening, James. I have 2 free hits. When would you ideally play them? 8 players, including Rafinha, this week. With that many, probably not this week. So 33 and you're keeping your fingers crossed that 37 might be big. I think something might transpire where people end up looking at 35 actually, and I might look at that on Monday's podcast. Honestly, it's so dependent on what might happen with the cup results, and we probably need a shock or so for that possibility to happen. Abidas Aiden says Coutinho or Maddison this week. Maddison. Abidas says Dejan or Coutinho. You mean Decky. The ginger from Sweden. Kulusevski, mate. George says, hi, James. I have 6.5 players. Triple Spurs and triple Arsenal. Gelhardt. Okay, let's see. Would you remove Bowen for Rafinha or Coutinho? Brownhill for Ramsey, or just roll? I don't think you could buy Rafinha at this minute with the concerns, could you? And I don't fancy Leeds either way, to be honest. Not that I overly fancy Coutinho. But if Bowen's not back for 31, you should still sell him. I would probably buy Coutinho from that. Rishi Pandey says, hey James, Doherty in for Dean. Doherty in, Dean out, and Barnes in, Willock out, -4. Yeah, it's fine. Spartacus, who's the best, Tierney or Doherty? Have Ramsdale so hesitant to double up on Arsenal defence, but Tierney is more nailed. Most likely free hit in 35, so Arsenal double doesn't matter. And go for Doherty. Pavanar says, supposedly Ramsdale out of a knock, Twitter rumour. Yeah, and at the moment, that's all it is a rumour that perhaps he didn't train today. Andrew Sands says, James, if you could free hit any footballer on the nose with a £3 stake, who would it be? Ronaldo. Xbox player says, hey James, I'm wildcard 31, or no, Saka, because he's Arsenal's best player. Xbox player. Hey James, I'm wildcard 31. Should I use my free transfer to get Barnes for Salah and lose 0.3? Don't stress about the value so much, mate. The nearer we get to the end, the less this value bollocks matters. What matters is, can you buy him back next week? Daniel Rogers says, Dean out for Cresswell or Doherty. Have Kane and Kula already. Oh, Doherty for me. Shin Sakai says, hi James, you have the best FPL content. I'm on a free hit. 2 to play from Iheanacho, Martinelli or Barnes. Quite clear, mate. The 2 Leicester players in my team. Aliga says, will Amati play? In my opinion, yes. Raghav Sood says, Holgate to Leicester defender, likely Thomas this week, or roll the free transfer. Is Thomas even guaranteed to play? He's been playing a lot. He's clearly first choice at the moment, but Sod's Law suddenly misses out now. I mean, I fancied him for a clean sheet. And if you really do, then fine. But if you don't, then don't do it. Morton Stevenson on a free hit, thinking about doing both Maddison and Barnes. Thoughts? Well, this morning that's what I was doing till I got the news on Daka. Liam Christie says, Region or Doherty? Doherty is safe for play from an EO perspective. Ludwig Nielsen, how confident are you Region starts next 2? Much love. You want me to predict game week 31? At the moment, 80-85%. Session's not expected back till the end of April. Axe Shani says, start Lacazette or Tony. Lacazette, Drew Bones, Son, Breuer and Trent to Kane, Barnes and a 5.8 million defender for -8. But yeah, get a cheap defender. It looks so grim selling Trent, but I think it's possibly the right play. Fred Jones, Ramsdale not playing. I don't know. Wayne Dean just joined your stream. Barnes or Maddison. The one that's in my team, top right, Wayne. My team's on the screen. Eddie Tan says Martinez. Liam Christie says go Casper. Liam Chalmers, Leno. All telling me what to do. I'm not getting Leno in. I've got 2 other Arsenal, so that doesn't work, does it? Oscar Reyes, anything concrete on Rafinha? No, I've covered. Akshay says Schmeichel. Yeah, that doesn't work. Craig Muir, Casper. Akshay says start Laka or Tony. Lacazette. Eddie Tan, Schmeichel or Saar. Eddie Tan, Fabianski. Nicholas De Gea for Saar, -4. Not Kane. L and lots of 9s, 91. Region or Doherty, I've covered that for others. Vishal says Tierney isn't as good without Tomiyasu in the side. Correct. Did that on Talking Tactics for the patrons yesterday. Noah Vermeer, Thomas or Pereira? If you're buying, probably Thomas. At least then you bench him in future weeks. Ross Johnson, spend 10 minutes with who? Listening to him. Yeah, really? I'm not interested in discussing that bloke, to be honest, Ross, but thanks. David James Whiteway. Darren Anderton, he's out, is he? Oscar Arias, I'm so torn over transferring out Rafinha to Barnes. Arnaf, once is enough on this stream, mate. If you don't like it, then feel free to slide on my Twitter DMs and we can look at getting you brought back into the chat. But for now, bye-bye. Arafat, and hit the like button on your way out. Cheers. Arafat says, Leicester defenders other than Pereira. There's loads of them, mate. There's loads of them. I'm not sure I could bring myself to buy one of them, though. Oles Morris, hi mate, Spurs fan here. Do you think I'm nuts for captain Kulusevski over Kane? Really fancying for a goal and setting up our goals? It's just not worth it, mate. It still get you. It'd be a nice differential for you still, mate. Immortal Technique is responding to someone. Thank you, mate. FPL Escapades. Evening, James. Hope you're doing well. I am, mate, and to you too. About 7 minutes to deadline, guys. Get yourselves locked in. Garrison Allen, sorry if it already answered, but you have Maddison as fourth cap, yet you have Barnes. Yes, the reason for that is I've just got a little bit more confidence in Maddison starting rather than Barnes, but I'm going all out for Barnes. It's as literal as that. Thank you, Immortal Technique. Sorry, I've disaster pronounced that. I'm from Sweden. We call him Dejan. That's because it's his fucking name, mate. But apparently his nickname when he was younger was Decky. Ollie Rose says, Captain Rafinha, come on. Yeah, make sure you got a good vice captain, mate, would be the advice there. FPL Casuals, how's Tricks, James, all set? Aye, all very good, thank you, mate. Hope you are well. Craig Merv, you on triple walls defence? If so, which three would you go for? Me, if I was doing it, 8 Nori, Johnny and Cody. Ross Johnson says, your mate for that man. Haha, don't overchange, James. Oh, it's in response to your previous question. I got it, Ross. Gershan Jatana, is Saiz benched? I doubt it. Nudifwe Natali, sorry if I mispronounced that, for future game weeks, Cancelo or Robertson. Cancelo, mate. And for the first time in a long time, you can tell it's a blank game week. I've caught up with the chat. Do I want to change this with the goalkeeper? Rasmus Anderson. Well, you actually will reach the end of the chat. Yeah, I did it for a change. I started quite quick today, I think. I also think like there's not really anything that I haven't covered. You know, no one's asked me Lanzini or Ben Rama. Okay, and Lanzini. That's the way I'd go. Him over 4 nows as well. Akshay says Cody or Nori. I'd go Nori on a free hit. Cody if I was buying. Thinking about it. Garrison Allen, have you ever been tempted to zip your neck to a goalpost? Oddly enough, mate, no. Pavinar says Romero or Dotti. Roger Booth, Tony or Jimenez for me. Top team, Regior 8 Nori. 8 Nori. No, Region. Gershan says Saka or Martinelli. Saka. Big Eek. Thanks for this, James. Always like your streams. You're welcome. Will Wood, lad, I'm still changing my free every 2 minutes. Panic stations. Is it better? So here's the thing. If Ramsdale doesn't play, I'm not bothered about the double Arsenal defence. I'm bothered about it because he's fit. Alright, let's log in. I'm going to give this some thought. Genuinely. I don't fancy Brentford at all tomorrow. Or even on Sunday. Gershan, how many times have I covered Maddison or Barnes? Lenti W, Lacazette or Barnes? Barnes. Dylan Ferner Rose, not so close to deadline. Pop your question in after deadline and I'll cover it, mate. Jose Vargas ended up with 8 attackers. Great, mate. Bench one of them. Probably Rafinha will solve it for you. FPL Nasri, Podence or Coutinho? Free hit Podence by Coutinho. Marius says free hit Jimenez or Nacho. Paul Willis, hi James. Silk question. Do you give much attention to these FPL Cup competitions? No, mate. I wouldn't know if I'm in any or not at all, mate. Akshay, Lacazette over Tony, mate. This is annoying. Second week in a row, goalkeeper on the deadline stream. Giving me a headache. What should I do here? This is it though, James. Raya is cover. He's still better than most. 4 points against Newcastle despite conceding 2. 4 points against Norwich despite conceding. 6 at home to Burnley. 10 at home to Palace. Gets a good number of saves. Fuck it. Go leave it. Fuck it. Will Wood. Kulusevski or Spurs fullback with lack of good defensive options. Kulusevski. Andrew Grondin. You've convinced me. Just shifted Pereira to the free hit 11. Let's have some fun. Sorry, Andrew. In advance. Romanford said, did Thomas play Conference League? Yes, he did. 11-9 Ross Kenny, Ramsdale and Jimenez or Lacazette and Sarr. I've gone Ramsdale and Jimenez, but you might want to think twice about it. Martin Boyle says, play Johnny over Tierney to get the value of the Wolves returns. But then Tierney's going to give you the value of the Arsenal returns. So you can flip that either way, Martin. Roger Booth, loving the work, mate. Always my go-to pod on a weekly basis. Appreciated, Roger. Will Wood, Ings punt, mate. Nah, not for me, mate. Still rather go Watkins, to be honest. Arlene says, Casper goalkeeper. I mean, I got the 3 Leicester, and I don't want to sacrifice any of them, personally. There is a case that I could obviously go like White on the bench and put Schmeichel in goal. But no, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to stick. Gershan, Maddison or Barnes. Like, literally, mate, how many times have I covered Maddison or Barnes, mate? Honestly. In fact, I already answered your own question on it. If you don't like the fact you've been muted, jump into my Twitter DMs and say, James, you muted me, I didn't know. And fine, I'll release you back to the world. FPL Ascapades, Unit Football tweet. Oh, no. That man knows his shit. There's no time. Love it. Love it. Do you know what? I wouldn't enjoy a free hitting every week, mate. Unit, what does it say? I need to find it. Deadline, gone. He's tweeted, is about Rafinha. And he knows his shit, Football Intelligence Unit. He says, the source who told me Rafinha travelled is not a tier 1 lead source, by the way. Not working at the club, not close to any players as far as I know. As stated in an earlier tweet in response to someone, don't take it as gospel. Someone I also trust has told me just now he's out. Downstairs says, we are taking these Ramsdale rumours seriously then, I guess. Do you know what, Dan? I'm not normally bothered about it. I mean, it's a decent sized account. I don't know a lot about them. But there's a few people who have gone with it and not said. What I was looking for was someone who said, oh, this guy's like on a wind up or whatever. To be honest, there's every chance he may not have trained today and may still play tomorrow. Who knows? Downstairs says, oh, well, time's up. I've got Ramsdale with Sarr on bench. I always hate being on free hit. Lol, cheers for the stream, mate. Great work as ever. You're very welcome. FPL Escapades. It's a dud game week anyway, James. Just ignore. You're probably right, mate. Will Bill took a punt on Ericsson. Best of luck for the game week, James. Thanks very much, guys. If you just came for the FPL, smash a like, hit the subscribe button on your way out. I'm happy to cover any non-FPL related questions over the next 15 minutes or so. Now I'm going to spend some time with my son before he goes to bed. Content next week. Me and Suj will be back on Monday reviewing Game Week 30. And as promised, I'm going to have a closer look at what Game Week 36 and Game Week 37 are going to look like following the FA Cup quarterfinals and draw. If I'm as accurate as I was for Game Week 33, tune in. You don't want to miss it. Tuesday, People's Poll. We'll put the vote out probably early on Monday morning for that. Wednesday will be Sky Fantasy Football. Thursday, Clash of Correspondence will be Tottenham versus Newcastle with Ricky Saunders and Simon Biddy. And Arsh James will be back next Friday. Time to be confirmed. Obviously, no deadline next week. Next deadline stream will be at 10 a.m. in 15 days' time on Saturday. I think it's the 2nd of April. God, I will miss you guys with your repetitive questions. Any non-FPL questions, throw them in the chat. Of course, obviously as well, if you want to support our content, www.patreon.com/planetfpl. Get access to my planner and the Planet FPL Slack community. We have a bit of saying now. We can talk to each other, unlike on the Bird app. It's a great community. You can sign up to access to my planner and the Slack community from basic tier. Podcasts available from intermediate tier, an additional 5 every week, and additional 5 videos every week at advanced tier as well. I can't make you a better FPL manager. The community might. But if you want to support our content, we'd love to have your support on Patreon. Dylan Ferner Rose, non-FPL. Sorry I didn't cover it before, Dylan. It was just so close to the deadline. That's all, mate. Heard comparisons with Klopp and Pep and Wenger and Ferguson. Do you think either of the current managers close to them will have potential in terms of icon status and or overall status? 100%. 100%. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Guardiola is probably City's best ever manager already, isn't he? I would have thought. Any Man City fans want to correct me on that? But I'd say he probably is. And Klopp, the only reason he's not at Liverpool is because obviously you've got such history there with the likes of Shankly and Paisley. But Jurgen Klopp will walk out of Liverpool an absolute god to them, a legend. And that, you know, they still love Benitez. They'll think far higher of Klopp when Klopp goes. In terms of quality, I mean, I think they're the best two around, to be honest. Pushcast says, I haven't seen you this stumped making a decision on stream. Doesn't that, because you know me, mate, I get locked in and that's it. And the only time it changes is a little bit like last week where I brought Dubravka in. So, yeah, goalkeeper one's a funny one. To be honest, if it was an outfield player, I probably wouldn't have been bothered. Just be like, oh, that's what the bench is for. Or it's an easy change with, I can't swap Ramsdale for Leno. I mean, that would be ridiculous, wouldn't it? So, an awkward one. Plus, I couldn't go Wolves, couldn't go Leicester, couldn't go Tottenham. Kind of blocking myself from the three that I wanted with because I wasn't prepared to give up the assets that I've got from those teams already. So, love it that my Ramsdale source message made you think I was you. Thank you, Pushka. I did appreciate it. Also, wish me luck. I went TA to Region World Cup 34. Good luck, mate. I hope that returns well for you. Gareth James, good luck this week, mate. Thanks for the stream. Very welcome. Will Wood, good luck, James. Love the content. Thank you, James98. Thanks for the advice, mate. You're very welcome. Star Classic, good stuff, James. Cheers, mate. Thank you. Sarav, what do you make of the Champions League draw? Pretty good for the Champions League teams. I think City can probably pass Atletico to death and will get there eventually over 2 games. Great draw for Liverpool to get Benfica. Brilliant draw. Chelsea's a coin flip. And to be honest, I think when you get to the Champions League quarter-final, I think Chelsea would rather have Madrid than have had Liverpool or Man City, to be totally honest, at the moment. So it's not a disaster. I think it's a fine draw for all of them. Durav says, need a James late riser Mark Southerns pod. A wire black box Planet FPL crossover. Yeah, I'm sure we can make that happen at some stage. Big Eek says, who do you want to be relegated at this point? Palace, shit away view. Burnley, shit away view. Newcastle, too much money. I think it'd be Norwich, Watford, Burnley. I think I've never really thought Everton would go, as shocking as they are, because I do think that they'll score goals in games once get it sorted with Calvert-Lewin, and I do think they have the individual qualities to win games. Yeah, I've got world-class players like Alex Iwobi, as seen last night. No, I think for Burnley, they're going to move into a position soon where, I mean, imagine Burnley lose to Everton that midweek fixture 31. It might look like it's over for Burnley. So, in all honesty, I don't have a preference of the teams to go down. Burnley is an awkward away day, so I could do without it in my life. It's a shit view. It's more the ones with the shit views I'd rather get rid of than the actual journeys. Norwich, great away day. Watford is fine and it's only down the road. They're harmless. They can stay. I've found a nice spot at Goodison Park now, irrespective of where my seat is, where just I would always go and stand there now, no matter what, if I went there. And I haven't been to Leeds since the 90s, so no preference on them to go particularly. I'm not bothered. I do worry for Everton if they do go. They're in massive, massive trouble. Big Eek says, who do you want to... That's what we've done. Martin Boyle, now for the better fantasy games, Sky. Any ideas for how you might deviate from the template since it's so hard to move at the moment? Well, if Rafinha's out, then I've completely fucked my life up, to be honest. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I sold Kilman the other week. The best solution might be for me to just suck it up and buy him back, I think. Might be what I end up doing. Pippin says favourite Doherty, Matt or Gary? Christ, if you put the two of them together, you might have a footballer. Matt Doherty is a better footballer than Gary Doherty. There you go, I said it. Gary was so bad that he almost took on cult hero status for Tottenham, actually. And he did get the odd very important goal for us, particularly in a few FA Cup games. But I'm going to say Matt. Listen, I dislike Matt Doherty because of how bad he's been. I don't want Matt Doherty to be bad. I want Matt Doherty to be good. He was very good against Everton. He's been okay in the last couple of games. He's been absolutely fine. It's much better than what it was. I also appreciate he took over Tottenham Twitter yesterday, and someone asked him about what was the nickname, Roberti or something, after Roberto Carlos as a nickname. I can't remember. And he said it's better than the nicknames I was getting called 4 months ago. I was thinking, Matt, only 4 weeks, mate. You don't need to go back 4 months. But good, he's obviously got a bit of sense of humour, probably a bit of confidence back. He actually seems like quite a likeable fella. So, look, let's go. I'm all on the board. The Matt Doherty choo-choo, as someone called it earlier. Adi Tor says, if Rafinha's out tonight, who's the best Sky captain? Tonight, one off, mate. It's probably Jimenez. TJ Powell, but I'm not going there. Not going there. TJ Powell says, what will you be up to in the summer when you and Suj take your break? I'm going to sleep a lot. I intend to spend a week where I get out of bed at about 11 o'clock in the morning. And quite honestly, if I have to go somewhere on my own for a couple of days to make that happen, I possibly will. Me and the missus and the little man will go away for a week. Not far within this country. We've got St. Butts in June. It'd be nice to catch up with some people that I don't have the time to see. We probably will organise, me and Suj probably will organise some sort of meet up ourselves. I'd like to maybe organise something in like a Brighton or something, maybe. I think it'd be a good meet up spot. I wouldn't rule out the possibility of us maybe even doing a live during the break. That's very different to the heavy nature of the content. It's something we might think about, but genuinely, we haven't stopped working bar 3 days, I think. Or at least I haven't, since since ever. Did I go away in 2018? In 2018 Russia, yeah. Since the 2018 World Cup in Russia, took the first 2 weeks off during the group stage. That was the last time I didn't pod. So that's coming up to 4 years. So yeah, a break will be needed, and I genuinely intend. I don't care if they launched a fucking game on June the 9th. I intend to have a break. I need one. Surav says, non-FPL, what do you make of the UCL draw? Covered. Thanks for the question. Joe Finney Batter, predict the African World Cup playoffs. Cameroon versus Algeria. I'm going to go Algeria. Mali versus Tunisia. We'll go Tunisia. Ghana versus Nigeria. We'll go Ghana. Morocco versus Congo. We'll back your boys, Joe. We'll go Morocco. And Senegal, Egypt. Go Senegal. Pushkar says, which is your favourite sports movie or documentary? Any recommendations? I think I nearly just got cramp in my hamstring. Sport film shit, generally. Rocky. Documentaries. Sport documentaries. The Maradona one was decent, wasn't it? About his time with Napoli. I just wish it had been kind of extended over like his whole career and stuff, really. Archie Mansfield, hey James, thoughts on next season's top six? Bit early, but with Newcastle and Chelsea situation will be interesting. Won't be much different. You might find Leicester improve next season again. West Ham are in the mix. Wolves, I'm not sure Wolves will spend the money to maintain another challenge. The established six will be in and around it again, I imagine, obviously subject to Chelsea's situation And Newcastle, I would expect to be top half next year. I'm not sure quite into top 6, but top half, yeah, why not? FPL Escapades, thoughts on the upcoming Formula 1 season, James? Think Ferrari could surprise us? I wouldn't have a clue, mate. It's Bahrain's first one this weekend, isn't it? But I wouldn't have a Scooby, mate. Will Wood says, can Liverpool do the quadruple? Can they? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Of course they can. Top Tim, cup predictions for the weekend. I think that if Chelsea play a back 4 at Middlesbrough, they might be in trouble. But, of course, you expect them to win. City and Liverpool expect to win. I would expect Palace to beat Everton. A-Man says, Maddison or Barnes for captain. Deadline's gone. Patrick Lawson, yeah, I'd have to rate Pep as our best manager. There you go. Although I love Mancini more. Yeah, that's understandable. Alex Newbold, would you prefer Spurs to win the league or England win the World Cup? Mate, Alex, I've covered this before, mate. I'd prefer Spurs to win the fucking Carabao Cup. Sorry. And that'd be amazing for the country, but I've got too much investment in Tottenham, mate. Milan the Villain, cheers for the lovely work you do. Can't believe this channel doesn't have 10,000 subs yet. It'll come. Keep spreading the word and the love. Do you think Coutinho stays in Villa next season? I don't know what the agreement is in terms of if there's mandatory obligations within the loan deal. If there is, then yes. If not, then I think some other clubs may well end up offering a better deal, possibly. Toby Edvinson, hi James, do you watch the FPL show and would you go on it if you were invited? No, I don't watch it. Will I even be invited? No, because they'd probably be a bit frightened that I'd go on there and tell the truth and walk off. If I was invited, would I go on it? Probably yes. I wouldn't get invited because I don't have the look. You know, I've got the double chin, I've got the beer gut. I don't dress stylishly, so I'm not going to get the invite, mate. So it doesn't matter. Plus, I haven't really got the time in my own content. A-Man MD says, Maddison or Barnes? Seriously, mate. Thanks for coming. Hit the like button on your way out. Phil Norris says, Alex Iwobi, haha, but an absolutely priceless goal. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Phil Norris, TJ Powell says, don't send Burnley down. Can't be handing that away today. Swansea to Burnley, that's a trek, isn't it? Marcus says, who do you support? I think you know now, Marcus. James 98, KDB, Yaya Toure, Gerrard for a one-off game, drop 1, bench 1, start 1. I would he's not dropping 1 and benching 1, kind of the start, kind of same thing. I'd play KDB and I'd bench Gerrard. There you go. Thelma says, drop Gerrard, play Yaya, bench KDB. Will Wood says, Maradona docu was class. There you go. Leonard Ho, thoughts Champions League draw. Done that, but thanks for the question. Toby Edvinson, smash the like button. Cheers, Toby. Ragav says, who wins the league? I still think City just. But I do think the 32 game could decide it. Tom Reynolds, James, speaking of sports docs, Icarus on Netflix, an incredible watch, still relevant now and demonstrates the lengths of Putin will go for Russian sporting glory. Is it Icarus or Lycarus? Icarus. Icarus. You know, I really should. These streams would be better if I did them drunk, probably. Thelma says, James, how well do you think Middlesbrough will fare in the Europa League next season? About as well as West Ham, mate. Suraf says, 2 sports documentary I'd recommend. Weight of Gold talks about the mental health issues of Olympic athletes, and Icarus, which that's the one that Tom's just recommended. Gym Pro 100. What one rule would you change in football? I'd fucking bin VAR. I'd get rid of it. Let's go back to pure football. But if they can sort out offside decisions where they become immediate and factual, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. Wednesday night again at Brighton, didn't celebrate Kane's goal. Was convinced that it was fishy and close to offside. And to be honest, I've not even seen a still back of how close it was or it wasn't. But yeah, Shite. When you're behind the goal, you can't tell shit no more. Bijaya says, have both free hit and bench boost left. Any suggestions? Yeah, 33 free hit, bench boost 36, free hit 37. But the very best suggestion I can give you is tune in to Monday's podcast, mate, and I'll go through it properly after the cup results. Cole Smith says, evening, James. Who from Chelsea moving forward? James if he's fit, Rudiger for consistency, Havertz if you're punty and you're freeing up the Trent money, maybe jump off sort of Fraser's level, Martinelli's level if you've got it. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Much love. Thanks. I got through all your questions for a change. Thanks, as always, for the likes, the shares, the retweets, the support. Have a great weekend. It's 4 games. The chances are, guys, it's going to be really low scoring. And what Harry Kane does is only going to matter for those who don't own him. Have a great weekend, everyone. Ciao for now.